The movie Anora, the movie Anora is one of the best films of 2024. It's won multiple Oscars. It swept the Oscars this past year. But what I thought was so good about the film and what was interesting, it was how the film essentially captured travel in a very unique way. It captured travel in terms of just people how people can develop over travel, how we can get to know someone through travel. And there were like two characters I want to focus on, Vanya and Igor. So the film is about this woman who is a sex worker and a stripper. And one day, she is eventually at a strip club and she meets this kid who's the son of a Russian oligarch. He's super rich, very wealthy. They end up hitting it off. He ends up just paying her for sex and hanging out with her. She sees his lifestyle. She falls in love with it. She's amazed by his wealth. And eventually, they get married. They like each other. They're cool with each other, and they charm each other. But they get married. He essentially he wants a green card, and he likes her, and he wants to have fun. She likes him, but she really wants his money, his wealth, and wants to move out of her current lifestyle. So they end up getting married in Vegas, and they come back to New York. Well, eventually, his family finds out about his marriage, and so what happens is that his parents calls their local, I guess, like his oligarch parents calls their local his caretakers or so. They're like three guys essentially. Two of them are like goons, and one of them is like the head of them, and so they bust in. And they have to go break up the marriage. They come to the house and they confront the couple and they're like, no, we don't want to divorce. We want to break up. No way. And eventually Vanya just like runs out. He just escapes. He runs out. And she is held down, essentially kidnapped against her will to stay in the house. And they gag her and everything. And it's very funny because she's just like chaotic and just hitting them and they just have to like hold her down. And she does not want to stay there, and she does not want to get divorced. But what they do is they tell her, hey, we need to get Vanya, we need to annul the marriage, we have a deal with you. We can help you find him. If you help us find him, we'll give you $10K. And if you get divorced, we'll give you $10K and we'll annul this marriage. She believes Anora does believe that Vanya does love her and will not divorce her. But she wants to find him too. So they agree and they go on this trip around Brighton Beach to find Vanya. They meet Vanya's friends, and they go to spots he may frequent. So on this trip, you see essentially, where's Vanya? Like the search to find Vanya. Where is he? Right. So they hit up all these stores. They hang out. They meet up with his friends. They go to the candy store, they go to the restaurant, they go to the diners, they go to all these locations where Vanya could be, and they try and find Vanya's friends. Because his friends may know where he is, or they can call him. Because Vanya's been dodging his calls, he's not been answering. But the one thing that's just like through this entire sequence of events to find Vanya, eventually they find him. They find him at the strip club where he initially met Anora. Which is, in that entire sequence, there's so many scenes like where you see like just like what would happen is they would go to talk to, they would stop by at a location where Vanya's friend is, and they asked him, "Where's Vanya? Can you give him a call? Do you know where he is?" And no matter where they went, his friends couldn't reach him. They had no idea where he was. They couldn't reach him. Like Vanya had just dropped off the radar. He was just nowhere to be found. He wanted to avoid being found. He answered no one's calls. He disappeared, right? He just wanted to escape and continue to avoid confronting, his caretakers or Anora. Like this whole thing was just him trying to avoid commitment. So in that entire sequence of them trying to find him and him trying to be avoided, at one point they go to a restaurant where he didn't pay the check, right? And he has all this money. Right. But you learn about this character, about this guy. He's just a child who just does not want to face up to what he's done or his commitments. Right. He could have taken a stand for Anora, taken a stand for his family, but he didn't do any of that. He just wanted to avoid getting caught for as long as possible and have fun in America. So that's his story. And you kind of just learn through these travel experiences that this is a guy who just refuses to take responsibility to his commitments and his his commitments, accountability, and just to grow up. He's just a kid. I mean, the kid he's playing it. The character is supposed to be like 21 or so, but still, he's just being a goofball, like a complete knucklehead. But a character that does look better and that gets better throughout the movie is Igor. Igor is one of the thugs, one of the guys. He comes off as very threatening, right? He's like this, looks like a Russian mobster dude, right? What do you imagine like stereotypical Russian to be, right? And he looks intimidating, right? He's the guy who actually really holds down Anora and really like he's kind of the big captor. Like he'll holds her down when he gags her, right? And so she's very hostile to him, obviously throughout the trip. He comes off as like this brutish, mean guy, but throughout the film, at the stops, you see him a much more softer, nicer guy. Actually, he's actually a much sweeter and friendlier person. I mean, the initial first scenes you see him, you see how strong he is and how he's able to fight. I mean, in one scene, he legit takes a baseball bat from one of the people he's trying to intimidate. Right? They take a baseball bat to scare him away. He takes the bat out of their hand and turns the tables on them, and they are like completely disarmed, right? He is that dangerous. But in the film, he becomes very sweet and friendly, like to Annie and Anora. Like you see as a guy who has the force, but he won't use it against other people unless necessary. So toward Annie, or Anora, he's very kind and very nice. At one point, when they're walking on the boardwalk of Brighton Beach, it's cold, and he has her scarf. He kept it to keep her warm, right? Which is very nice. He offers it to her. She kind of is like annoyed by it because she still has resentment toward what he did. But he is kind, and he just gives her the scarf, and he also makes jokes every now and then. And then throughout each of the stops, he'll be very smiley, friendly. At one point, after one of the characters throws up in the car, he does a smoke break with her. She's throughout the film, she's kind of like cold toward him, but you see him still making effort to just be kind and nice. At one point, after she has to do the divorce from Vanya, he actually when they're on the plane, he gives her a blanket. She's trying to sleep on the plane. He gives her a blanket to keep her warm. It's a very sweet, nice thing to do. And at the end of the film, after the divorces happen, he ends up, like giving her the ring she had, her engagement ring that Vanya had given her. It's 4 carat. It's worth 4 carats. So it's a very expensive ring, but he kept it. He lied to the oligarch family, and he kept it for her and gave it to her as a nice gift, right? So you see him look better. Like in the movie, Vanya gets worse and worse and worse. He emerges as a child, an immature child, but while Igor looks like a real man, like a very good, strong man who's like has both sides. He's dangerous, but also friendly and nice. So you see him emerge much better off, while Vanya gets worse. So through their travels, their trips together, you see these two characters just show their true colors. Peace.